Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. I just uploaded one not too long ago, but this one here I really wanted to upload now because of the playoffs and the last two teams are battling it out. So I thought I'd get this one here made. Now I started it off with a big hard chunk of maple, and it had a flat spot on one side of it, so I had to really take it down. You can see here a lot of difference that I really had to take a lot of it down to get rid of that flat spot into it. So once I got it down far enough, then I was able to start getting some shape to it. I didn't want to leave that flat spot onto it, so here I'm just finishing up and trying to get it nice and round. I've got it between centers right now, but I am going to be making a tenon on the end of it, and later on in the video I'm going to find out that it was a bit of a mistake putting a tenon onto it, and what I should have done is I should have put my plate on the bottom of it. But where this was a bit of a long piece, I don't have a steady rest, so a tenon wasn't actually able to hold it all that well. Now from here on in, you're going to see the shaping of the cup. It's going to be nothing but putting the shape to it. Now here, this is the bottom part of what would be the Stanley Cup. The black base part that's onto it, and carving up along to where all the teams' names are engraved into it. This was a bit of a fun project. I have made one of these once before, and it came out real well. So I said, in highlight of the playoffs, I think I'm going to make another one. And mainly because my favorite team is one of the two teams that's still left playing. So now I'm just getting up into that curve area where the neck of it is, and it comes up into those rings, those thick, heavy rings along the neck of the cup. These are the type of projects I like, putting detail into it. I love putting detail into projects like this and using smaller chisels and watching it come to life, like getting that realistic look to it, or trying to anyway. I know this isn't exactly like it, but it's close. The cup part I wasn't able to get exactly the same as what is on the real Stanley Cup, but it still came out quite good. Now, during the shaping of this, most of what I was using was my parting tool. That became one of my main tools to use for doing a lot of the shaping. I've got a 5/8 bowl gouge there right now that I'm using for bringing it down some. And now I'm back to my parting tool. Now I'm going to be getting into some smaller detail here because it's going to be going into the bottom part of the cup. This is the fun part of the whole carving right here, is seeing the last bit of it being shaped. Now, as you can see right there, it's like I said, I didn't get the cup quite the exact same as what it would be on the Stanley Cup, mainly because I was running out of wood by the time I got it nice and round. So I had to shape it to the way the wood wanted to be shaped. Sometimes you can't argue with the wood. Now I'm just cleaning up along the edges using a round nose scraper. Just taking some of the sharper edges down, rounding them off. And that's a 3/8 spindle gouge there I'm using to get into some tight spots as well. Cleaning up some of the tool marks that's onto it. I like a good clean project. So before I even start sanding, I always try to make sure I get my tool marks all out of it. Now here I'm getting ready to put the grooves into the side of it to where all the names of the teams that has won the Stanley Cup over the years is engraved in the side of it. Now I'm just getting ready to part off up here by the cup because I still have to bore out the inside of the cup. And that's where it starts to become a little bit difficult, but I made it through after a while. Now I went right down to a 60 grit because there was some really rough edges onto it that I wanted to make sure I get it out before I start with my more finer grits. So I started with a 60 grit and then to 100, and then I worked my way up to a 600 grit. Going in between in the little grooves, getting all the little areas. Now after I got the sanding done, I'm taking this rag and I'm just wiping off the dust, getting all the little particles off, any little bit of dust that's on it. And there's some antique wood oil. And I use this, if you've seen some of my other videos, I use this for trying to get a little bit of that grain to come out a little bit into it and see some nice texture to it. So now I'm just getting this down enough that I can get my coping saw into it. And I'll part this off and I'll put the tenon in the chuck. And that's probably not where I should have went to. Again, I should have put my plate on the bottom of it. With the length of it and stuff, I drilled a hole in the middle of it to help myself out in the very center. Now the first little bit So I had to try to put it back into the chuck and tighten it up. But afterwards I had to take it completely off the lathe and put my plate onto it. Now it's still got a little bit of a vibration here to it, but it wasn't all that bad. It was enough that I was able to get the inside of the cup finished and get it sanded, because this is the last little section that I needed to get done. And again, here I'm starting with the 60 grit. .100 grit, and then moving into the 150 grit, 220 grit. Then I use a 400 grit into it, and I think that's as far as I went inside the cup, is a 400 grit. That's all I really needed to go. And the antique wood oil, which helped bring some of the grain out into it. And there she is. Slap my little marker on there, and she is good. Alright guys, I'll let you watch the rest of the video. There is still a little bit more left. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you the next time.